Season 2 did not kill the momentum, it killed the fantasy, and that is exactly what it was supposed to do. So let us talk about why everyone turned on this season, what the show was actually doing while people thought it was dragging, and why Season 2 is the reason the ending hit as hard as it did. Season 1 ends with the biggest win in hacker fiction. Elliot and F Society wipe E-Corp's records. Consumer debt vanishes. The economy collapses. The revolution worked. So what did people expect from Season 2? The next phase. Elliot dodging the FBI, taking down more targets, building on the momentum. But that is not what Season 2 gives you. Instead, you get Elliot living with his mom, basketball, watching sitcoms, journaling, going to group therapy. For the first stretch of the season, Elliot's story barely moves. Same breakfast every morning, same routine, same empty stare. And after the chaos of Season 1, that felt like the show had slammed the brakes. But that was the point. The reason Season 2 frustrated people is simple. Season 1 trained you to expect momentum. Every episode felt like the plan was moving forward. New target, new problem, new secret, new twist. Season 2 takes that rhythm away on purpose. It replaces momentum with repetition. It replaces the thrill of the hack with the discomfort of sitting inside the consequences. That is why the routine feels so annoying at first. It is not giving you the dopamine Season 1 gave you, and that is exactly the point. Season 1 made Revolution feel exciting. Season 2 asks what happens the morning after, when the high wears off and everyone still has to live with what they did. Episode 7 drops the twist. Elliot is not at his mother's house. He is in prison. The basketball games were the rec yard. The meals with Leon were the cafeteria. The rigid schedule was federal lockup. And the reason you bought all of it is because Elliot bought it too. His mind was protecting him from reality, just like it always does. Go back and watch those episodes again. The show was telling you the whole time. The bars in the background. Leon talking about Seinfeld like someone watching it on prison TV. The bland food. The way Elliot describes his routine like he is trying to convince himself it is normal. You were not watching a slow season. You were inside Elliot's denial. And when the truth hit him, it hit you the same way. That is not a gimmick. That is the show proving its thesis. You do not watch Elliot's life directly. You see what his mind lets you see. You believe what he needs to believe. And if you felt tricked, good. That means it worked. And even inside this slower, stripped-down version of the show, Season 2 is not peaceful. That is where Ray comes in. At first, Ray feels like part of Elliot's routine. Calm voice, basketball courts, small conversations, another person orbiting Elliot while he tries to stay in control. But then the show reveals what is underneath him. Ray is running something ugly, something violent, something Elliot cannot ignore. And that matters because Season 2 is not just putting Elliot in a holding pattern. It is testing whether he can actually stay out of the world he claims he wants to escape. Elliot says he wants routine. He says he wants control. He says he wants to keep Mr. Robot quiet. But the second he sees another system hurting people, he cannot leave it alone. That is the contradiction Season 2 keeps exposing. Elliot wants peace, but he is addicted to intervention. The show does something with Angela that most shows would never have the patience for. At first, she is Elliot's moral compass. She hates E-Corp. She is filing lawsuits. She represents the person still trying to do things the right way. Then the show puts her inside E-Corp. Not undercover, not as a spy. She just takes the job. She starts dressing different, talking different, sitting in meetings with the people responsible for her mother's death and smiling through it. And for a long time, the show does not explain what she is really doing. That ambiguity made people uncomfortable. They wanted Angela to be playing everyone. They wanted the twist where she was secretly working against E-Corp from the inside. But the show is not interested in that kind of easy answer. Angela does not change because of one dramatic turn. She changes through pressure, access, compromise, and proximity to the machine. That is what makes it uncomfortable. You watch someone get absorbed in real time. While people were complaining that Elliot's plot was slow, Darlene was out here speedrunning a nervous breakdown. With Elliot locked up, she is running F Society alone, and she is drowning. The FBI is closing in, the Dark Army is making demands, Romero is dead, Mobley and Trenton are hiding, nobody knows who to trust. Then she kills Susan Jacobs, the E-Corp lawyer, not in some cool action sequence. She tases her, stops her pacemaker, and watches her fall into the pool. Then she has to figure out what to do with the body. It is messy, it is ugly, it is real. If Elliot's story shows denial, Darlene's story shows consequences. She is trying to hold together a movement that already won, and watching it collapse anyway. So when people say nothing happens, what they usually mean is nothing happens the way they expected. Because while Elliot is trapped in routine, Darlene is carrying the fallout, with a dead body, a collapsing movement, and the FBI breathing down her neck. This is where we meet Dom DiPiero, and she ruins the fantasy. Most hacker shows make the FBI look stupid, always one step behind, easy to outsmart, but Dom is not that. She is careful, she is relentless, she catches mistakes, she turns F Society from a symbol back into suspects. Before Dom, You could believe the revolution was untouchable. Now there is a real investigator on the case, and suddenly every mistake starts to matter. That is what Dom does to the story. She makes the hack feel trackable, sloppy, human. And that is why her introduction matters. The show is not ignoring the hack. It is showing the consequences finally closing in. Season 2 also gives you your first real look at White Rose, not just the Dark Army handler, the person behind the machine. You see her manipulating Philip Price. You see her pull Angela into that surreal room with the little girl and the dying fish. You see her talk about time like it is something she can own. The show does not explain the full project yet. It does not tell you exactly what White Rose is building or whether any of it could actually work, but it shows you something more important. White Rose believes. She believes so completely that governments, corporations, the Dark Army, and even people like Angela start bending around that belief. That is what the show is doing here. It is not giving you all the answers yet. It is putting the pieces on the board. Dom turns the revolution into an investigation. Angela shows how people get absorbed. Darlene shows the fallout. And White Rose shows you the force behind the curtain. Season 2 is not slow because nothing is happening. It feels slow because the trap is being built. Everything that makes seasons 3 and 4 great is built on this. You cannot have the Elliot and Mr. Robot integration without the prison breakdown. You cannot have Angela's devastating finale without watching her get absorbed. You cannot have Darlene's growth without seeing her fail. You cannot have Dom's tragedy without first seeing how close she got. Because the revolution was never the point. The people were. This was never the season you had to push through. It was the one teaching you how to watch the rest of the show. It taught you not to trust Elliot's reality. It taught you that revolutions have consequences. It taught you that the system does not disappear just because someone hits delete. That is why it matters. If you made it this far, you probably enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. I will catch you in the next one.